This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
All right, I'd like to call the meeting of the Manhan Rail Trail Committee to order. It's Tuesday, May 30th, meeting remotely and in person. We'll begin by approval of the minutes of the April 25th, 2023 meeting. I sent that to everybody. Anybody have any comments, corrections, praises, criticism?
I think you're doing a great job, Dave, and it's so nice to be able to sit in a meeting and not have to take notes. Believe me, I thank you.
So
Get that.
Okay.
There was a lot in that last meeting, so I tried to capture as much of it as I could, and I had recorded it and played it back so that I would, because it was an important meeting, but
Right.
I think I kind of hopefully got everything.
Yeah, better to have more than less.
It could have been a lot more.
Right, right. Summaries are. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes of the April 25th meeting?
I'll make a motion.
Second? Second, all in favor?
I
Any opposed? Abstain? It passes. Okay. We have a guest tonight, Lonnie. True, you're just here visiting?
I'm visiting to see if there's any need for me to be visiting or whatever.
We welcome you, welcome.
We're happy to have you. Thank you.
So let's see, I guess we can go on to trail updates. I have a couple,
Okay.
but anybody else have anything that they want
in
to?
terms of like maintenance issues.
Yeah,
I was mentioning to Liz earlier, well, and this will also dovetail with some of sort of the plans and the future expenses. But I was walking down the stretch over near Neary, like behind the window place from there, and there's a lot of sort of cracks across the trail repeatedly from there. And also the bollard that's over by Fort Hill Road, there's a really wide crack.
So are these from roots or just
No.
like
there's
where the pavement meets and it's just separated?
Like the straight across
there
crack?
used to be
So like
some,
it's a really
Wow.
wide crack.
Wow, that is bad.
well, okay.
Do you mind if I?
There have always been a few
Mhm.
cracks like that.
But
They-
that one
they
was
seem
really wide.
Oh my
wide. I
goodness.
mean, that's the worst
Fall
one.
into
I
That-
mean, somebody could,
Yeah, could you email that to me?
Yeah.
I'll send it to Greg.
Oh, yeah, I remember hitting that one.
And then there's just to give you an example, sort of the smaller one.
well, there's a couple small ones on the south end, but I have some pictures.
There are
of-
some that I've seen that are straight across.
Yeah.
It
You know,
makes it
Yeah,
look
that's like that. That's over
Yes.
behind the window. So but there's a lot of them in that stretch. And I have a feeling whatever the consistency of the asphalt was when they did that part probably contributed to that or something, or if they didn't
Yeah.
quite grade it as well.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, I don't know whether, there are things you could put in there and sort of you add water and it kind of sort of provides a little bit of a seal or just,
Yeah.
it's something to look at. But I think the one by the bollard probably needs,
Well, you know that stuff they put in the cracks in the road?
yeah.
I would
Right.
almost think they could do that. If it's a really pretty big crack. Yeah, but,
Yeah, that's a possibility.
yeah.
Unless Greg says it has to be filled with asphalt.
And I think the roots behind where Ed's is or was, depending on what happens to it, Ed's Auto Body, that section probably should be maybe next up for
That's the first
repair.
priority.
Yeah.
It's really
Okay.
bad.
Okay, so I don't know if anybody else has noticed as they're driving down Union Street that our trailhead sign is all tilty.
From the work they were doing?
No, I looked at it. This picture doesn't really show it like it really is.
Oh, the posts are
Yeah,
tilted.
and I looked at the bottom of this one right here. It's all kind of
Oh,
Rotted.
It's rotted off. I don't know if it's termites or if it's rot. I wish I could show you there, Steve and Alexis, but
That's okay. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, well, we can send.
if
we
you
can send
go
a
by,
picture.
if you drive by Union Street, I just happened to drive by and I'm like, whoa, the thing is like, oh. So, before I left on vacation, I emailed Greg because I don't know what the plans are. And I'm wondering if we should just take the whole thing off, take it totally down right now
While they do the construction.
while they do the construction and then afterwards put it back in.
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Keep it safe somewhere.
I totally didn't have time to ask Greg again today, but I mean,
Is it gonna be in the way anyway?
I don't know. I would think it probably might be.
Or it might at least get damaged.
Yeah.
It'd be better to
So I
put it
want to
in the
ask him, and in my mind, I'm kind of thinking there's going to be a lot of work along there anyway at some point, and it might be just as good an idea to just take the whole sign down right now and
It
just
may be in their
tuck it
budget
away.
for that project.
Yeah, maybe.
But we don't know yet how that intersection is
I
gonna
don't,
get
yeah.
configured anyway, so it'll probably have to be moved no matter what.
Yeah.
And how long is it gonna take for them to finish? I just don't want it to be gone for years.
Well, we can't.
Are we talking weeks?
Oh no, it's going to be a couple of
Months?
years.
Years?
I think it's 2025.
I don't think we should have that sign. That's right in the center of town. I think we need to have a sign.
Whoever has a dog.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to mute right now. Sorry.
Okay.
Mute the dog, good luck.
Mute the dog,
Well, I
yeah.
think we better talk, because I mean,
figure
I
out how to
don't
mute
think
the
there's
dog,
any
let me know.
sense to, like, if they're gonna come through over the summer and they're gonna have to take it down anyway. This rail, this one looks okay. It's this one right here. I mean, you can tell it's a bike path, and then, I mean, there's a lot of disruption on Union Street anyway. To me, I'd rather, I don't want it to fall down. But I also don't want to spend time and money putting it up if then they're gonna just have to take it
Well,
down
look,
anyway.
why don't we find out from them what,
I asked him and I just hadn't heard back.
oh,
I asked him, I said, do you think we should take it down because of the work or should we try to fix it? And I haven't heard back. I
was
haven't
that
heard back.
a long time ago?
No, I mean, it was right before I left on vacation.
Oh, okay.
Might be a short-term fix, buttress it somehow.
Or can we move it out of the way, but still have it visible from Union Street? Can we push it back? I mean, if it's gonna be 2 years, I would think it would be worth it to push it back.
Yeah.
Well, aren't they going to
10
sort of
feet and-
swing it around just a little bit? So
Yeah, I don't think our kiosk is gonna be, I don't think
It's gonna be there either.
no, I think it's gonna be there. I
Oh.
don't think we have to do anything with that. So I don't know.
Can we use the kiosk as can we attach it to the kiosk? Kiosk is perpendicular to Union Street, correct? Can the sign come out from the post supporting the kiosk and have just one more post on the other side? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. It
Or is
is,
that still too close to the
Well-
construction?
I don't know, but it's got the brick around there.
I know.
So you can't like just stick a post in there.
No, but I think that the outer post
We'll have
might
to
be
look at it,
far.
yeah. Well, you wouldn't want it like over the trail.
No. It would be perpendicular to the trail. I mean, it would be parallel to the
Yeah.
trail, perpendicular to Union.
I have a picture of it. I'm sure I do somewhere, but I don't know how many years.
I
back.
have it at home on my computer. I don't on my phone.
Well, anyway, I wanted to just. Maybe we had that put in, maybe 17. I wanted to mention it in case anybody went by and you panicked going, oh my God, the thing is gonna fall over. I had seen it and.
Okay. Well, we don't want, like you said, we don't want it falling over and hurting anybody.
Right,
So
yeah, right.
we need to
No.
address it one way or the other.
Yep.
Question is, do we have a
Yep.
solution that would work
Yeah,
for
yeah.
the duration of the construction?
when was that sign put in?
We have also gotten notice from that company. I don't know. Apparently some of the posts at some locations were rotting. And this was a couple of years ago, they wanted us to go out and inspect the posts to make sure they weren't rotting. Well, ours it's in brick. So, I mean, I've looked at them and they look fine. It's not like they're just down into dirt. But they sent another letter out this year saying that if you do ever notice any rot starting on the post, that you we could, replace them, that they would replace them. So apparently
Sounds good.
there's been some issues. I hope that it doesn't affect it, because it's kind of a big deal.
So would they replace this post?
No, it's for the
it's
kiosk.
Kiosk.
We bought the kiosk from that.
Yeah, it's a company in Vermont.
Got it.
Anyway, so that's that. The next thing is I need to get the approval. So remember Greg they were gonna be doing a lot of tree cutting, down by the rink area. The Dewey Street. There were some trees, behind the Park Street apartments. And the cost that he first said was like, what was he saying? Like $6,000? Well, they had the work done and it was $3,360.
Nice. Is that our portion, or were we
thing.
splitting it? The whole thing was?
Yep. So,
Oh, were we splitting it with them?
we're not splitting it with them.
Okay.
So, I mean, if it was 6,000, that would be our split.
Right.
It says tree removals, bike path, John Street and Dewey Street. Bucket truck operator, laborer, bucket truck, log loader and operator.
This was the area where the homeowner had the fence project, right?
Yeah.
So they hired this is a
Northern-
separate contract.
Northern Tree Service. So I just got this today. So it's okay with everybody. I'm gonna take it out of the money market. Okay. I mean, that's not too bad.
No,
So
and they needed to go.
they needed to go.
Okay.
So,
Have to start somewhere.
okay. We've had, our trail worker, Terry has been kind of concerned about behind INSA, there's that walkway that goes down to the bike path with the big rip-rap stones. Well, people don't like to walk all the way down the walkway. They like to cut down, and that causes rocks to get loose and they come down onto the bike path. And I guess that it happens quite a bit, that the big rocks end up down on the bike path. I don't really know what would be the solution to that. She thought maybe a sign, but I don't think a sign would do any good. I went down there and there's a little gap between the fence and the very, let's see.
But people also step over that fence.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So right here, that's where people go down.
Oh, wow.
So
How do
there's,
they fit?
oh, it's pretty, these are kids. These are agile people.
Yeah, Barb, I walk that area all the time, and once in a blue moon, there's a rock or two on the trail, but it does not happen very often. So I really don't think it's a crisis or something that we really have to worry that much about.
Yeah, I'm down that way running and walking my dog a lot. Same. However, it could be something to bring up too. I just came from the Pleasant Street Mills meeting, and there's the company that's reimagining that whole area.
Yeah.
As it is, I don't love that entrance because I think that the entrance is really obvious if you're coming from the Union Street direction. But if you're coming from Northampton,
Yeah.
then it's not obvious that that entrance is there at all.
True.
So as it is, this could just be one thing to bring up to them as they're reimagining that whole area and usage and how to get people from various areas to the mills.
Yeah, I wonder, I mean, they could put some stairs, but then that
Oh, yeah.
wouldn't be, if you had a bike or something.
Yeah.
Unless they had
the
one of
kids
those.
would ride the bikes down the stairs.
I mean, I think there needs to be some cleanup, and it's probably something that probably would have to be done every couple of years.
Yeah.
And when I walk down there, if I see some that are right by the trail, and it's not huge, I move
Yeah.
them as I'm walking. But I think there's just been a lot of redistribution of those rocks, and it needs to be cleaned up at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe that would help.
I mean, I think if I was down there and I saw a rock in the grass or the trail, I mean, I'd just pick it up and throw it.
Yeah, that's what I do.
So
But if somebody's walking or not paying attention, or, I mean, you don't want somebody to trip over it or.
Well, there should
It
be,
can be a
it
hazard, yeah.
affects the mowing there, because you
It
can't
does.
really clean that up.
It's more affects the mowing, because I mean, there's more pictures of it. Kind of like it, the rocks maybe aren't on the trail, but they're in the mowing
They're in the
area.
grass.
Like in the mowing.
Oh,
area.
I see. Yeah,
A lot of weeds that can't be getting
yeah,
at.
Yeah, I've seen this.
yeah. So you know it. It's just. a pile.
Has the mowing company ever complained or said anything about it?
Well, the guy that we have do that area, he probably weed whacks some of it anyway.
Some of it's growing up within the rocks.
Right, yeah, yeah,
You can't.
okay. I mean, I think if any of us are out there and we see some rocks, we can just throw it up there. And then maybe when they do get around to reimagining things, maybe that's a spot that
Yeah,
they should focus
Right.
on. To
right.
figure out something
Or
different.
something different than the rocks,
Yeah,
yeah.
Right.
and even if it's just
Well,
landscaping wise.
well, no, remember that used to be landscaped with dirt and plants and
Right.
it was a weedy mess.
And it was constantly eroding and.
It was, so they put the rocks on and it's better in terms of that.
Isn't there some way, don't they have that mesh that they can,
That's what they had.
That's what
they had the mesh
Yeah.
holding the rocks?
No,
No,
well,
what is it, like rip wrap? Did you
That
ever
is
go
rip
on
wrap.
when you're on the highway
Like
And
on
they
Route
have-
66,
and they have
Mhm.
metal
Yeah.
wire? They actually make
cages, yeah.
like
cages.
chicken wire, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if there's some way to corral the rocks is what I'm saying and keep them from migrating.
Hmm.
I guess, I don't, in my thought, it's not super serious. But I think it would be something to look into down the road
Right.
for a better solution, but
Yeah.
in
and
the
it would improve the
meantime,
appearance there too.
yeah.
Didn't it say somebody fell off their bike because of the rocks? Isn't that what I read on that screen?
I don't know, did Terry say that?
It's possible. I would think we just bring it up somehow. I don't know if we're tied into this group, but who's ever reimagining that area, we just let them know about these issues.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy, he told me 4 days ago he fell off his bike because of the rock situation.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not good.
No.
Yeah. No, that's dangerous. Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking maybe could they put some kind of little stop, like a little,
Hey,
something at the area. Keep
You know, on
yeah.
the roads they put falling rock signs. Maybe we should do
I was gonna say, and I was like, can I tell these people that? There's a
that.
falling rock zone,
Throwing rocks, so
throwing myself, yeah.
So anyway, that was something Terry brought up. And another thing she brought up is that we're looking into replacing some of the Lexan on a couple of the kiosks. The metal
Hmm.
oral Eric kiosks.
Mhm.
They've been graffitied and
Yeah.
she tried to clean it off and they're all kind of a mess.
is that
I was going to bring that up actually. And the other thing, Barb, can we either replace or clean? I don't know if you can. The Manhan River sign on the bridge is all covered with graffiti.
On the Lovefield Street Bridge?
Oh. wow.
The one bridge we have, the real bridge. You know how we've got how it's got Manhan River on it, the metal bridge. The cage.
Is it up, where's the sign?
The sign is. How often are you on our trail? Come on, Wendy.
I don't go on that. I don't go on that section.
It's on the railing at like waist height, if you were
Oh.
walking, or maybe chest height or some whatever. It
Okay.
says Manhan River. It's right in the middle of the bridge, and it's all covered with graffiti.
Okay.
What is it made out of?
Is it metal? Metal
Oh,
sign?
good question. I think it might be. I think it's pretty narrow. Peter would know. Peter installed it.
Hmm.
Which,
And
by
all
the
it
way, can I ask? First of all, is Peter on the line?
He's not.
Okay. Do we want to present him with some kind of lifetime achievement award or name something after him or something while he's can still appreciate it? Just tossing it, just think about it. We don't have to talk about it now. Just think about
I
it.
think it's a great idea, and I've actually thought about that as well,
That's a real nice idea.
whether it's a bench or
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, bench would be nice.
Yeah.
Does he have a favorite spot along the trail that he?
I don't
I
know.
think so. We do have a couple benches.
We do.
Steve, does it just say Manhan River?
Yes, that's all. Yes. Yep. You can actually, when you're driving on the road, you can actually, if you're going slow and looking for it, you can actually see it from the
Okay.
from the road. But yeah.
Okay. Signs are pretty expensive. We just-
Well, I can try that graffiti clean stuff if is it in the shed and
Well, I can ask Terry to try it because
Okay.
she has access to the shed and she's out there.
she'll do a better job than me. I'll make a mess of it. But okay, that's good. Never give it a shot.
We did have, Fort Hill Brewery had said they wanted to adopt the trail section at East Street.
Oh, wonderful.
That was like 2 years ago, and so we got a sign and it was like $200. Well, it's now been returned to my office, so
Have they been maintaining the?
no, they're done with that. Yeah. Anyway,
They probably have so much business now, they don't need us. So.
yeah,
I didn't know that they were.
yeah,
Doing that.
he wanted it, he asked for it, and so we spent the money for a sign and no, then he brought it back, because they're done with that.
Oh, you know what? He's pissed at the mayor, right? So that could be all that whole controversy that he had with the yeah, whatever. You know what I'm talking about.
Okay,
Anyway,
well, we don't have a adopt the trail
we don't,
program at the
he
moment, so
said that's why he wanted to do it,
yeah,
so.
okay, that's done.
Okay. One other kind of related to the trail thing, and I just showed everybody this, but I'll read it to you and Alexis because you're not here. I got an email today from a woman. It says, I run a community art studio in the Eastworks building. I'm hosting a kids mural and public art camp this August, and I have an art project in mind that I wanted to run by you. The fence right behind Eastworks, I would like for the kids to paint it. It would be painted with house paint in a colorful way. I think it would really brighten up the space and be a great experience for the kids.
The fence behind Eastwood.
Yeah, I have a picture.
Is that the one Rich replaced part of?
Could be. So I guess I wonder what everybody else thinks about that.
Sure, why not?
I couldn't see the picture. I think
Yeah.
Hold up your face.
What
There
do
you
you
go.
think?
It's like-
Oh, they want to paint the wood?
Yep.
It works though.
And then how do you stop the next ones that want to decorate the Manhan Rail Trail and the
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
ones?
I think it's kind of my thought that we've worked really hard to keep painting off the fencing. You know, we've done a lot of cleaning, and not to say that it would be graffiti, it would be like a regular project, but I'm just not sure if we want to encourage that, but.
Can we give them a counter proposal? Is there something we'd like to have them paint or do, or you know, some kind of artwork or something that we can suggest so it's not we're just rejecting them?
If it was, my feeling is if it was something that was using natural materials, if they did some kind of rock, I don't know, twigs, something that they could make or create that was artistic, but isn't painting on anything that can't be unpainted. I mean, once that's painted, you're never getting it off. What if it's
awful.
ugly? I was gonna say ugly, but
Awfully ugly, right?
awfully ugly. Or just, I mean, like to Barb's point, we want to encourage people to start putting their own personal art
Right.
on
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
I think it is a slippery slope,
Mhm.
but maybe we can have a conversation with him or her, and about something else that is less permanent.
Or
Yeah.
maybe we,
Be removed after
or maybe we could direct her to Easthampton City Arts to see if maybe they can have an idea of some.
Did they mention a time frame? They were
She said in August.
the camp is in August.
Oh.
You know, I remember doing research for one of the grant applications and one of the projects that some other trail did, which I thought was amazing. They had the kids or some kind of project where they each did imprints of different, like it was a bird and a fish and I don't know, all kinds of natural things, a leaf and a tree. And they created an arch. It was stone. It was out of tile or something. It was very nice and beautiful. And
Could they do something
I don't know, but that
with
might be
chalk that
beyond.
wouldn't be permanent? It would just be sort of basically something temporary. I mean, they could even,
I don't even think I like that.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna encourage
No.
every parent to bring all the chalk and the kids down to the river, because we get to do this now.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
What about taking those falling rocks and making a labyrinth out of them on the,
Right.
you know, a temporary
adopt a
labyrinth,
rock.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they could paint rocks, and put them
And
on
then-
on the bank.
Or put them on the fence. Is it a
Yeah.
flat? No,
Start
it's not a.
disappearing.
Yeah. I don't know. I just.
I like the idea of the ECA, that
Yeah.
that's where art needs to be directed,
Yeah.
right, from and to.
And then if they come back to us with a proposal that
Right.
involves the
Yeah.
I
bike
mean,
path,
because
we
this
can.
is city
Oh, that's
property.
good. Yeah.
So we.
And that, remember Eleanor would like that solution, remember? Because she didn't want us to have anything to do with art. So that would be perfect.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, I would still, even if they went to Pascagoula and they came up with an idea, if it affected the trail, I'd want to at least see what they're thinking.
Oh,
But
yes.
I guess I just don't see it on something, a permanent, thing that's there all the time, that
Right.
just might make other people want to decorate,
Yeah.
others.
What about,
You know.
in Northampton, there were some benches that were decorated. They had artists do them, and I think it was along Main Street in Northampton, and maybe
Yeah, but I think
Those were
this is just a
professional.
camp.
The
Those are
professional urban
professional
environment,
artists.
Different, I think.
how old are these?
I would say they're young.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, but directing them to,
I was just thinking of the
Yes.
benches that are sort of on the little kind of pull-out areas there.
No, I don't think we want those painted on either.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if everybody's okay with it, I think I might direct her to Pascagoula to maybe
Yeah,
talk
that's-
about.
Yeah.
Say we really rather not because of graffiti's an
Graffiti
issue
issues.
anyway, and not that this is graffiti, but it could be like graffiti to some people.
Right,
And encourage them to do their own.
right.
Yes. But maybe Pascagoula, maybe she could work with them and they could come up with something cool.
Yeah.
Or something through the Parks Department even.
Or some, yeah, right.
Mhm.
I think that's a great solution, Bart.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay, that's what I'll do. Kind of think that's about it. So, for the trail maintenance talk.
Right. So I guess I think my question to you, and then we both got really busy, we didn't wrap up, was, I had done a year 1, year
Yep.
2, year 3, year
Yep.
4, year 5, which was somewhat arbitrary. I tried to put year 1, some of the things that they talked about doing immediately. But beyond that, I just did what was a priority in my head. So that could use some work, or do we not even want to do that? Do we want to just open the conversation and then work with John and Greg and come up with that list?
Yeah, to me, that kind of sounds like the better. I mean, this year one, there's some pretty kind of big things on here. I mean, but I know you said we could start with,
Well, the trash, because they talked about, they already removed one barrel.
yeah,
right?
which we did have some complaints about the one being removed at Route 5. I think we have to see if that continues to be, that people really miss it,
Yeah,
because it can be put back if you want.
What was the complaint?
They took out the trash cans at Route 5 and Gosling Drive.
Right, but what was the?
Oh,
person?
there were people that said that they specifically walk on the trail and they like that bag, because then they can put their dog poop and, you know, they know that it's there, and they walk that section because they know there's a place that they can leave their stuff.
That's
And,
a good point. That is a good point, because who the hell wants to carry that around with them, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, so yeah, as soon as they came out, I had a couple people reach out and say that they were not happy to see them gone. I haven't heard anything since. It was like right after they were taken out. So. Yeah,
But you know, I mean, that's probably the one of the few things. Everything else, that area, there's no stores down there. There's no people aren't going to be eating a candy bar they just bought at the local store, right? I mean, you're down there, and you shouldn't really have any trash with you. So it's really just that, probably that convenience more than anything else that we're going to be missing.
I think one of the things we were concerned about is people coming off the boat launches, just dumping all their
Right.
boat launch, boat trash in there, and why should we pay for that?
Yeah.
I mean, if I have my granddaughter with me and I change her diaper, I'm gonna carry that back home. I'm not a dog owner, so maybe that's different, but you don't just bring it home. Isn't it like pack in, pack out? I don't know.
Mm.
yeah.
But I'm not a dog owner, so I don't know.
I mean, it should be, but let's face it. Look at what you're carrying. If there's a trash can, you're going to dump it. You're going to hope there's a trash can. You're right. Maybe 100% equity or something. You should carry it out, but everyone.
Is there
yeah.
for the bag?
Not there.
So where are they getting the bags?
Well,
They must be bringing their own bags.
I always have bags with me
Yeah.
because he
There-
used to
there
say
are-
he does not only go where there are bags. I try to encourage it.
Yeah, we do have, I think, 2 or 3 dispensers with bags, but none down on that area.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So we have a dispenser on the Coleman Road, but no trash can. And on Route 5, we have a trash can, but no dispenser. Wonder if we should put the dispensers on the trash cans.
Because I think when you create a dispenser, you're kind of suggesting to people that there will be a place to deposit it.
not really.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
it's like,
yeah,
well, in case you forgot to bring a bag, here's a bag.
Yeah, let's face it. The law is you're supposed to take care of it. That bag that we're giving you, we're giving that to you for free, but you're supposed to bring your own. So, you know, sometimes you're too nice. Come on. I mean,
Wait, let me get that.
Unless
a
you
dog
get like,
owner.
unless you get really like inundated with unhappy
Mhm.
residents, you know, I say we probably don't need to put the trash can right back in.
Right.
Because yeah, you own a dog, it's your responsibility to carry the bags and to take it with you if there's no trash can.
I kind of think that if, you know, as soon as it was gone, somebody noticed it, but once it's gone for a while, you're not even probably gonna even notice
Yeah.
that it's gone.
And if they ever open a Dunkin' over there, it's just gonna get filled.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think the fact that after that 1 or 2 emails that I got, I haven't heard from anybody. Nobody said anything. It kind of means to me that, you know, after a while, they're not even gonna remember there was a trash can.
and
I mean,
plus now you can just blame it on Plus, Barb, now you can just blame it on the Parks Department anyway, so who the hell cares?
But
So
getting back to the list, so I'm fine with not assigning a year, but just saying these are the
These are-
items that we,
Yeah, I mean, they're all
Normally-
good things.
It could be, I mean, not having seen the list, it could be good to bring it to a meeting with Parks and DPW, just to hear some suggestions and a place to start.
right,
Because I always think it's easier to begin a conversation with some kind of framework rather than say,
Yeah.
looking at a blank piece of paper, like,
Right.
well, where do we start?
right,
Did you?
We've done that already, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so we kind of had that initial talk. The question now is how to get to the next step. So I should probably explain what we're talking about. At our last meeting, we met with the DPW director, park and rec director, and the city planner. We're looking at transitioning the maintenance of the rail trail away from us as volunteers to the city departments, and having the park do some and DPW do some. And they were both talking about having one or two employees even to be dedicated to not only the rail trail, but other parks that are coming online too. So they were very agreeable.
Wow,
And had
that's
some good-
fabulous.
Good idea, but they also said that, there's budgets to think about, and we have to bring the mayor into the discussion, and we need to, so that's all is.
So we're trying to write a proposal that will give a framework without trying to put in too much detail, because I think it's too early to do all the details, but.
Yeah.
But the one thing I didn't put in there was cost estimates. So
Yep.
if you want to just, or maybe
Yep.
if you can add what you think the cost estimate would be,
So, right.
I say we go ahead and just,
So
do
some
it.
of these things I have no idea, like inspection of the trail or trimming, weed control.
well, they do
brush
that
cutting.
anyway, don't they inspect the culverts? For the.
So I don't think there's a problem. But, like emptying trash cans.
Or then if they would know what that cost would be. So
Yeah.
some of these I think they have to put in
Yeah,
a budget guesstimate.
right.
But,
Yeah, so I mean, I can tell you what it costs for us to be mowing and
Right. So if
sweeping,
you
we don't
put
pay
in,
anything, snow plowing, we don't pay anything, but.
so if you put in what you know and put question marks and then send it to them and say, wherever there's a question mark, if you guys can give us a
I mean,
best guess.
basically about all I could fill in is trail mowing and trash pickup.
Although you
Barb,
do know,
Barb, can I ask, how about, I know John Bader spent a lot of time, blowing the leaves off the trail. And I imagine he's probably not doing that so much now. Is that something that has to be done? Are we paying for that, or are volunteers doing it, or what,
Well, last year, our senior tax work-off, Terry, she did quite a bit of
Okay.
it.
Okay.
So that doesn't cost us anything.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
and in the fall, there are sections that really need it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even sometimes if you have a bad storm, like a windstorm, and you get
Right.
twigs and branches and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah.
so, but again, I think the DPW would have a pretty good idea of what that would entail, because they must do that elsewhere.
Hmm.
Leaf blowing?
In the parks, correct? Or downtown, I don't know.
I mean, if we can have a senior tax work-off person do it, it doesn't cost anything.
Right. So if you want to do your part, send it to them as a rough draft and, just
I think,
cobble it together.
yeah, I mean, really, there's almost all of these things I wouldn't have any idea either.
Okay,
Because
that's
especially
fine.
for things that we don't pay for now. that,
Right.
It's like, you could say question mark.
Right,
Two
Right.
times a year, that's not enough. It's done like multiple times in the fall.
right.
Yeah.
What did it cost to do the center lines?
Ooh.
We'd have to go back and look.
1,200, that was our highway supervisor on the side. He has a
Side business.
side business. I'd say it was probably 1,500, 1,200. That
And
was,
so
I forget.
how often, like, does that usually, every 4 or 5 years maybe, or?
we've had it done a couple times.
Yeah,
I mean, that's not critical.
yeah.
But
And we know what it costs to replace the asphalt by Millside Park, right?
well, just one small little part, and I don't know what prices, I mean, I don't know how much it is like per foot.
Right. I'm sure that fluctuates, especially in the last few years.
But
Because I'm wondering
Greg-
if we
Greg
identify like some sites that are likely to need repair within the next few years and kind of estimate what that will look like and what the,
I think that's
Cost.
really difficult for us to do.
right, but I mean, even if we, I almost got the sense from the meeting that that's what they wanted, like a little bit more concrete. No pun intended.
How many
Say.
linear feet
Yeah, but
per year?
You know, like,
It
I
varies.
think
but-
that would be something they'd have to go out and inspect it. That would be part of this trail inspection,
Yeah,
that, because really,
otherwise we're just
guessing.
throwing darts.
I mean, I have a whole, in my office, I have a thing from Jeff McCullough from probably 15 years ago. A whole big thing that had areas that were problems even that far back.
Yeah.
I mean, I have that, but that was a long time ago.
Did we address them all?
No. I mean, we've done a few of the worst spots, but we just don't have the money to do
Yeah.
major repairs.
Yeah.
You mean, we've done a few. We've done South Street, we've done behind the, we've done a few spots that were really bad, but
if we can unload a lot of this to the city, that would free us up to assist with grant applications. And get it paid for. Get the trail paving paid
Oh,
for.
don't get me wrong. I agree with you. The only thing is, I think once the city takes full control, if we're still around, we're not going to be satisfied with how they do it anyway. So we're still going to be nagging the hell out of them to,
There is some risk.
well,
Yeah.
There is some risk. there,
I can fiddle around with this. I don't know when it's gonna be, sometime in the next month or so, maybe.
but- Okay, well, I don't want to wait. I just want to make sure we give ourselves enough time to have this conversation before we get into the next budget.
Right.
So we don't lose another whole year.
So who do we see this going to?
Well, after you put in what you do know, and I know there's a lot you don't, but what your best guess is for the things that you do know. I would send it right to John and Greg
Just
and
John
let them fill
and maybe
in
Jeff too.
and CC Jeff.
Yep.
And they can
So
try
not
chat
to
amongst
the mayor at this point.
No.
Just send it to them.
No.
Okay.
And then
Okay.
once we have a dollar figure, we really are looking for some kind of dollar figures. That's what she's gonna want, I would think.
Yeah.
And, then
I mean,
then we all go in there and,
it might be that some of the more, it might start more gradually. This year one seemed like kind of a big, like bunch.
Yeah. well.
But-
Yeah.
Yep.
There are
All right.
important things need
Yeah.
to be done.
So Barb, we must have on a macro level, how much we spend each year, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I have it down.
Hold on, sorry.
Yeah, I do. I have that all right here. All the bills that we pay every single year going back, way back.
So, that can give them just obviously some of this stuff, we get donated or whatever, but basically that should give them a fair estimate of what they're going to be having to do each year, right?
Right. Like I say, most of it is trash pickup, trail mowing, some maintenance of fencing, and once in a while, some tree work, some doggy pot bags, purchase of mulch. And that's pretty much it.
What,
But it does-
what's a ballpark figure for like a year? The 10,000, 20,000?
Okay, we've almost got this. This is FY 23. It's almost a full year and it's 9,000, just a tad over $9,000.
So that's
But
nothing for the city.
Right, but Steve, we haven't done any paving. We haven't
Right,
spent
Yeah.
on tree removal. There's a lot of dead, dangerously low hanging branches. So it's the big things that we've
Right.
got.
Well, you can look at it two different ways though, Wendy. We're trying to sell this. We don't necessarily have to tell them everything. I mean, we want them to take the job away from us. So, you know, we're spending $9,000 a year.
Well, no, but except if they're talking about potentially hiring personnel, there has to be enough tasks for them to do. And I think there's a lot of things that we don't do because we have limited funds to do it.
Well, maybe it
Well,
could be
personally,
broken-
can I just do one thing? I'm sorry, because it bugged me in the last meeting. I think it's crazy to have assigned personnel, because that's what the hell. We got parks all over the place. What is different about a linear park than a park? So why isn't the park department just taking this, treating it like any other park? What the hell?
Well, Steve, the problem is they're getting more and more parks, but they're not getting more and more people to help take care of them. So I mean, just Nonotuck Park alone, with all of the ball fields and the soccer fields and the, you know, the pavilions and, I mean, and also remember they do the cemeteries. Now they've got the Mount Tom North and they've got Pleasant Green and Millside Park. And,
Right.
I mean,
So what I'm saying is, just if you need, if they determine that maintaining the trail needs is 2 people a year, hire 2 more people, but don't dedicate them to the trail, because sometimes it might make sense for them to work over here or over there, and sometimes they're going to hang around doing nothing if they're just dedicated to the trail. So I think that's the wrong approach.
That's what they said last year, or last week, or month.
Yeah, that was the intent. They wouldn't necessarily always be on the bike path. They might be over at Mount Tom, the North Trailhead, or you know, doing other things.
Okay.
Maybe we could have it broken down like routine maintenance and those would
And
be,
periodic.
and periodic maintenance, other
There
things,
you go.
maybe, you know,
That's fine.
because I can easily give them what we do all the time.
Mhm.
But we can go and expand on that and go into the other things and just kind of leave it open-ended, but maybe give a guess.
Okay.
That makes a lot of sense.
Do you want me to rework that? But I still need you to come up with the
Yeah,
number,
why
even
don't
if I rearrange it, or
Yeah,
you can
I'll
rearrange
just,
it.
maybe just rearrange,
That's
and
fine.
move stuff around and
That's
like
fine.
group them at like, maybe not by year, but by
Annual maintenance
You know,
versus,
group,
Hmm.
like, whatever, like, other projects, other needs,
major,
maybe, yeah,
major. Yep, okay, that's
something
fine.
like that.
Good.
Okay.
Perfect.
But I will send it to you. You know,
Okay,
let you look at it.
as long as we keep moving, I
Yeah.
just don't want it to
Yeah.
get bogged down with another year.
All right, I can at least do that, the easy
Okay.
part.
Now, because this might take a year, I think, and we have how much money in our account? 30,000? Do we want to, my question is, do we want to address the worst spot? Like Dave said, there's this one. Do we want to talk about getting some paving done this summer?
Well, I think we could, kind of have that conversation with Greg,
Okay,
and we would contribute to it.
It's
But
a
I
good
mean,
idea.
obviously, they need to help anyway, because they would need to pull up the pavement like they have in the past, get somebody to come in and do it,
okay.
you know.
The season is short
You
for
have a
paving.
specific area?
Well, I think that section over behind Ed's Auto Body or whatever,
Yeah,
Mechanic Street,
right.
is certainly one there's many sections, but that one is downtown, so I think
Probably heavily
it's
used.
heavily
Is
used.
it really bad?
But what I'm not sure about is sort of like, do you just do a whole long contiguous stretch, or they're like maybe little parts that don't need it, of course, then you're gonna have.
Then you have the seams, and that's where the water gets in. Again, that might be a
Well, if
question for
there's-
Greg.
If there's parts
Yeah,
that don't,
it depends on how far away, the bad sections are. If there's a big section, then you do the whole section, or if there's,
Yeah.
separated by not that much, then go ahead and repave it. But
yeah, I wouldn't want to tear up good pavement.
No.
Yeah.
But you don't want to have more seams than, you want to have the fewest seams
True.
possible, I would
Yeah.
think. It's all, no matter how well they do it, it gets separated.
Well, who wants to go out and do some, looking?
I'm happy to kind of like try to measure out the distance for that space, but I also don't entirely trust my judgment, because I don't know, sort of like, if there's just a little bump, leave it be, or like where it feels like like there should be
The
the
beginning
starting
and the
point.
end.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if somebody else wants to give feedback on that, or,
Well, Steve, you're on the trail a lot, right? You
Yep.
ride,
I mean,
contribute to that, and
Sure.
I mean, we could meet at some point and just see if we both agree.
sounds good.
All right.
or does anybody else? I don't know if anybody else. Liz, do you ride that section at all, or?
Some, yeah, I mean, I'm,
You can also
I mean-
grab a paint can and, highlight some of those root
Mark
spots.
it.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's
That's always a good
a
idea
good first
anyway,
step.
if there's really bad routes to highlight them.
I mean, anybody who's on the trail, whatever, if we all come back next month with feedback on sections that we all feel are the worst, and if there's
Right.
overlap.
And we could prioritize sort of which seems most
Right,
acute.
okay.
Yeah.
That sounds.
So Dave, you've got my email. Just contact me with whatever you need.
Okay.
So we all have homework.
All right. So Liz and Alexis, what was this that you wanted to talk about?
Like, are you there? There you go.
Hi. I wanted to propose well, first of all, I'm not on the meeting, which, I applied, or I'm going to apply to be on the Manhan meeting through your official process.
Oh,
Because
excellent.
I
Good.
keep trying to implement things, and maybe I should actually be official before I do that.
We welcome you, and especially we welcome younger new people. So we're glad to have you join us.
And as you guys know, well, maybe you don't, I'm the Mass Bike rep for the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission. So I go to the Bike Ped subcommittee once a month there, and I go to Mass Bike meetings. And Mass Bike is more focused on transportation, biking and as transportation. And so I was hoping to make a Bike Ped subcommittee that we went to meetings like we just had at the Mills, or the upcoming Union Street project. I mean, not Union, Main Street project, and like have how is this project going forward with a bike ped pedestrian point of view. And I was thinking of it as a work group that reported up to the Manhan, and any of you are welcome to join. And I wouldn't make anyone go to more meetings if they don't want to or they're not interested. I know that the mayor isn't interested in forming new committees, so I wanted to kind of consolidate these two, but I didn't want to take over your group. So I was hoping just to form an ad hoc group that had the support of the Manhan or reported up to the Manhan, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So this committee would be more general biking things like bike lanes and things like that, not necessarily trail related, but.
Correct. So I'm thinking of the Manhan as the spine of the network, and then creating neighborhood connections, being able to get to grocery stores, Route 10, Union Street, the mill project we were just at, and getting more stakeholders involved. I wrote a list somewhere. Yeah, I would be interested in like creating, inviting like Walk Mass to do a walk audit, which they've done for several other towns in the area, and help the city build out a bike ped master plan, which MassDOT like doesn't require, but they want from every city in order to see where they're going with their pedestrian infrastructure. Yeah. Any questions?
So does this group does not yet exist? You're trying to form a new ad hoc subcommittee. Okay.
Yes,
So,
correct.
so who are we targeting to be on this kind of subcommittee?
We're hoping
Oh.
there will be some people from this committee who will want to be on it, but we also know some people who are not part of this committee who have expressed interest in participating.
Oh, great.
So if this isn't gonna be a regular committee, how is it gonna function and meet and all that?
Well, we were hoping you had a sense of how these things get formed. It seems like it would be helpful if we had some official standing. But I don't know how that works.
Maybe it should not be a subcommittee. Maybe it should be an actual standalone committee with some of us being on it or not, whatever, but dealing, directly reporting to the mayor or whatever.
But she said she doesn't want any more new committees.
Yeah, that's my only concern, is that the mayor isn't interested in new committees.
Okay.
Did she tell you that, or?
I mean,
How do
I've
you-
never talked to her, but that's through hearsay through the creation of the bees committee, because I was kind of looking at maybe it could be under the bees committee as well, because that's sustainability. But it makes more sense to be working with the Manhan, in my opinion. Sorry, my
I'm
cat.
just wondering how it's gonna be formed.
Did the open space plan sort of account for some of these things that you're talking about?
The master plan, the open space.
Yeah.
Master plan, the recreation master.
Have you talked to Jeff about it at all? Jeff, the city planner?
Yes, it was his idea.
Oh, it was his-
Yeah.
Now we're getting some.
Yeah, I'm not worried about creating a structure. I've been sitting in on, like I said, I've been going to the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission meeting. I've been sitting in on meetings at Holyoke in Northampton. Tomorrow is the statewide bike ped committee that I attend. I'm the structure and running meetings. I've run a ton of meetings before. Sorry, my cat is very interested in being part of the group. And I more want your blessing before I come up with like a plan or an outline or a schedule or anything like that. I just don't want to blindside anyone or like take over. You guys have already been working for decades. I don't want to run your group, but you guys seem more focused on recreation, and this is more targeted towards transportation.
Right.
I think it's a great idea. I'm just trying to figure out how it would work.
Right.
Well, I mean,
the actual logistics of it, right? I mean,
Yeah, I
So-
can come to you with another proposal if more
So-
details later.
well, it sounds like, I mean, we've had subcommittees before, so having a subcommittee is not a big deal. I think the problem is that this is more of a subcommittee because it's not just us. It would be other people too. So it's kind of a new entity, something a little different than a true subcommittee. So how does that fall into the bureaucratic scheme of things?
Right. I wonder if Jeff might have some thoughts of how that could be.
I mean, if you're looking for a liaison from this committee to represent us on your committee, I think, if that, we do that all the time. I mean, a few of us meet with Northampton on certain projects, and so we do that all the time, so that's
Mhm.
not a problem. So that would be one avenue, is just to have a liaison from this committee.
Right, but then you
Be
have to
on
be on
yours.
another committee, and how would you form the other committee?
It's more like a subcommittee
Yeah, but-
or a ad hoc
Yeah.
committee or something.
So this is really just a bureaucratic thing. It's not that anyone opposes it. It's just we have to
Right.
figure out how it fits in to the picture, right?
Right.
I can ask Mass Bike, Galen at Mass Bike, how other cities function. I'm pretty sure Holyoke is just, it's not an official group. It's literally just a concerned citizens, and it's not an official committee from the city, but the city engineer goes, and they have, it's really interesting. They pick a completely different focus. They from Massachusetts has a like healthy division, and that's what they fit the bike ped group into, is like, and I could ask them more information. It doesn't, when I talked to Galen, who's the director of Mass Bike last week, he also said that it would be, you actually have a little more freedom if you're not directly under all the city rules.
Right.
And that's why I'm not pushing for a committee. If we make continuous headway and we're getting projects done and people respect us, maybe form a committee later, but I'd rather just get Easthampton residents who bike or use mobility devices or try to navigate any street with a stroller. Like, it's not just bikers, and I don't want it to be cyclists.
Well, how about this? I mean, this officially right now we're meeting as the Manhan Rail Trail Committee, which is, our advisory committee to the mayor, but we are also friends of the Manhan Rail Trail. So I don't know if we can set up some kind of relationship with that organization, possibly.
But that's just for the bike path. It seems
Yeah.
like this is broader.
Hmm.
I mean, I think maybe getting some ideas of how other cities have done it, maybe talk to Jeff, see if he has any thoughts on it. I'm just concerned that if it's a committee, you're gonna have to, post agendas and have minutes and open meeting law and members appointed, and and if there's no committee, is the mayor gonna do an administrative code to establish a committee? I don't,
Wow.
yeah, so.
A lot of rules, huh?
That's what I think of when you hear a new committee. I think, well, first you got
That's
to
why
establish.
I didn't want to do it.
Well, Barb, it's good to have someone like you that knows this stuff, because we don't know,
I mean, maybe it could just be a working group,
Yeah, that's why I was hoping for a work group.
maybe a working group under the planning department or something like that. Maybe something through the planner's office. And there could be a few people that meet to discuss it, not a committee, but something like that.
That sounds like a good place to
That,
start.
that does
Yeah.
sound like a good idea.
Well, if
Yeah.
it came out of the planning office, maybe that's the best place for it.
so is that how you guys get around open meeting laws, by coming up with things like this?
I don't
Working
know. I guess I think it would be worth talking to Jeff about it, especially if it was his idea, to see, like,
I did talk to Jeff. I'm not going to say it was only his idea.
Well, make him think it was, and then he'll support it even more.
Okay, fair enough. I will do some more homework and get back to you.
Yeah, especially because I think a lot of the projects that you would do would have to kind of go through the planning department phase anyway, or a lot of the ideas, like the whole school thing, and, a lot of those come out of his department anyway,
Right.
so.
For example, we just had, like 2 months ago, we just had the Main Street redesign, and I was trying to find more people who are interested in a pedestrian, bikeable, design of that area. And I was asking him and his coworker Eli, and they repeatedly said in emails, we are not advocates. We can't advocate for any group of people. Like, that needs to come from it can't come from the city. It needs to come from the people who want more infrastructure. And I have a list of people who want more infrastructure. And it's not just only the Manhan. It's a network to get to other neighborhoods and sites in the city,
Sure,
including.
great.
I mean, it seems like the town really, that's the direction they've been going, and they're really committed to that. Obviously, resources and funding is the primary obstacle, but I mean,
It's
I feel
not
like
always resources and funding, it's also community support.
So this seems like a good time to get this rolling because the Main Street project is getting rolling and we want to be sure and that it gets done well.
Right.
And so this is the time to be, I mean, there's another meeting for it next week. So it seems like this is a good time to gather a group of people to, you know, have a presence at that kind of meeting and find out what kind of plans they have and have input. Is it possible to contact some of those people that you know that would be good candidates and maybe pull together
An emergency meeting.
some kind of like a Zoom meeting between now and that meeting next week?
I mean, it's a little bit short notice, but I can try.
Yeah, and maybe include the members of the Rail Trail Committee, because I can think of several people on this committee who would be interested, not everybody, but a few, I think, would be interested in participating. So that might be a first step.
Okay.
Great. Yeah,
Sounds good. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Also,
I see
one last thing, the ribbon cutting for the Columbia Greenway is June 17th at 10 a.m.
Yay. Good.
It's a Saturday morning.
Do you know where it's gonna be?
I probably can
What do you
email out. It was on the, I can probably email something to the group.
Okay, it must be on their website. Oh, I can.
It's on
probably
the Mass Bike website too.
Oh,
and,
okay.
Or not the Mass Bay State Bike Month,
Okay.
which already happened, I know, but it's into June.
Good.
is there any update on the maps?
Well, when Alexis and I went to the Bay State Bike Breakfast a couple of weeks ago, we met somebody from Easthampton who is a map. I sent you his contact information, and he said he would be willing to help if his help. It sounds like the cartography team that they've got lined up to work on it isn't making any progress. I don't think they have much interest in it. So I sent this person's contact information to Wendy and also to George in Northampton, and said this person has said he is willing to help with this project if his help would be welcome. George said this is great. This, you know, the thing is stalled. We're not getting anywhere. Having somebody willing to step in and help might be a big plus.
Yeah.
So that's in his hands. I gave him the information. I'm hoping that'll kind of get something started.
Are there any maps? Do you have any maps, Wendy?
I have like a stack about this big.
I think
Not
we
gonna
are
last
pretty
long.
much totally out.
Do we want to, I know we talked about this 2 years ago, but do we want to just print up some one-page, couple thousand,
Make into a.
you could just fold into, you know, 8.5 by 11 that you can fold,
Try
tri-fold.
making it into a trifold.
We need to have
Yeah.
something out there.
I think so.
Having
Even if it's
no
one-sided.
maps in the map boxes, I think
I
is a
don't
bad
know.
thing. Northampton's still got maps in their map boxes. They still must have some supply.
Huh, I thought
Not a
that's
lot probably, but I see maps in their boxes. I think we should have something.
Which then begs the question, what, you know, somebody's got to come, take those pieces, important pieces, and lay them out.
What do you mean?
Well, the map we have now is not 8.5 by 11.
Right, right,
So we can't just take a picture of it and,
yeah,
you know, we need the elements.
yeah, he has all that. Somebody in Northampton.
That's the
Well,
problem.
that might be a George question,
That might be a George question.
and say, as a stopgap measure, we need to get something out there.
Unless they have some maps, if they have any maps that they can lend us.
I thought last time he said they were out, but if you're,
Okay,
if
well,
you're seeing
they're-
them, they
they're
must have a
probably
few.
down to the last few.
Yeah,
I can't,
like we are.
yeah,
Uh,
but,
I am betting that Paul Donace probably has a box, but I don't even know how to reach him anymore,
yeah.
unfortunately. But, anyway. All right.
yeah, George might have access to the graphics from the old map.
Right. And all I'd want is, I don't care, I'll just want the map.
Yeah,
We don't need,
Nothing
we
fancy.
don't
Right.
need any.
just something, a temporary thing.
Yeah,
You don't need the whole map, just the East Hampton.
right. If we're paying for it, we would just do the Easthampton.
Anything else? All right. Let's look at our
Next meeting.
calendar. Let's see. The 19th?
That's Juneteenth.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's a holiday. I'm off the 26th, so I'd rather not.
I can't do the 26th either.
We want to go into July.
Does it have to be a Monday?
Doesn't have to be. It can't be I'm not available the 21st. I'm out 26th, 27th, 28th.
Are you available the 20th? Tuesday, the 20th?
I could probably do that. Tuesday, the 20th?
Do that.
I
What,
might
what
be
date
able-
are you, wait a minute, of what month? What month are you talking about?
June 20th.
I don't know what other meetings there are, but
Right. Wasn't that the reason why we did Monday? Because this board
Okay,
was, I mean, I
We're into
can do
June.
July 3rd if you want to stick with Monday. I
no,
don't know. No.
that's too close to the.
Oh, that's the holiday weekend. No, no deal.
Well, let's,
July 10th?
That's my birthday.
we want to try, let's try for June 20th.
Okay.
yeah, what's wrong with that?
Okay.
You might need to do the minutes. I might be away.
Okay, what other day?
I mean,
I mean,
I
that's-
don't know for sure.
Pretty soon.
You're not allowed to go away. You're on the Manhan Rail trip. It's the lifelong commitment. Didn't mean we're telling you that.
What
That
about,
has
you said
commitments.
July 10th is your birthday?
July 10th.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that doesn't matter. I could do it on the 10th, I'm sure.
Did you
July
say-
10th, I'll be on vacation, but that's okay.
Did you say the
I'm
26th?
not the secretary anymore, so I don't,
I'm
fine.
available. I'm
I'm-
probably gonna be here, but I'm not doing. meetings.
I won't be,
Okay.
I won't be here the
Tuesday.
26th. 27th.
So July 10th?
Or June. We
Doesn't
could do
matter.
July 11th.
Okay,
Wait. I have something. Furnace cleaning. Yes, I can do July 11th.
That's a Tuesday.
okay.
Yes, all right.
How about July
Okay.
11th?
No, I'll miss that, but that's okay. I'll be driving, to Utah and Idaho.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Okay,
We're taking 2 weeks.
all right. I think I can do that.
Okay. Well, if you need to change it.
Yep. All right, we'll tentatively say July 11th.
Okay.
Give ourselves a June, because it's pretty close to the end of the month right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
All right. Okay,
All right.
sounds good. But I do want to keep moving forward on
Yeah,
the
I'll
maintenance
work
thing.
on this. We all have our projects.
Yes, we do.
Okay, motion to adjourn,
I motion.
second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.